Hey, can't ask for a better intro than that. Wow! So what a powerful song, and thank you, Doug Marshall. Tom asked me to come here tonight and talk a little bit about what brings me back to the firesides. And we also talked a little bit about the power of collective consciousness. Now the reason I've come back, besides the awesome food and the hugs, the conversation has always been something that's been inspiring and one that allows my mind to explore different areas that I've always wanted to explore, areas that were not traditionally taught to bring up in the mainstream. You know, sometimes we have ideas of how the universe works or how we work or how we view things that we don't always talk about because there's so many opposites out there. And there's not enough people who are helping us to understand. More often we find people trying to push their own definitions on us. But here, it's a lot of questions, it's a lot of sharing, it's a lot of openness, and a lot of discussion. So, the term collective consciousness, it sounds profound. Collective consciousness, what does this even mean? I mean, collective, a group, consciousness, our awareness, our thoughts. So are we all connected? Are our thoughts all intertwined? Do we all share the same thoughts?
No.
No, but are there times that we can? I mean, we can catch a cold, we can catch a flu, can we catch a mood? I think by all means we can catch a mood, right? You know, when we come here, do we leave here tired and depressed? We leave here happy, we leave here with energy, we leave here with our conversations we shared, following back to our cars, following back to our homes, following to the next day, following into our YouTube videos with Doug, and following into what we take to work on Monday, and following into what we share with others around us.
There's something in the water.
Something in the water, and that's an interesting thing to say because, well, I looked up the term collective consciousness, and it's been used to refer to the overall social atmosphere. Social atmosphere arising from the thought and behavior of the individual members of a community or society. That's the definition of collective consciousness. So, I've often noticed that there's times I feel a certain way. I'll feel a little bit off, or I'll feel a little bit sideways, and I show up at work and my coworkers have that same sense, or a feeling of optimism. Do you know that Google has actually created a tool, and there's a name for it called the Google Profile of Mood States. So Google has written an algorithm that goes and sniffs through all the Twitter feeds and the public Facebook profiles and can tell you how people are feeling about their health, how people are feeling as far as happiness and kindness and empathy. This is all measurable. It's a term that's been thrown around quite a bit. Even stockbrokers talk about, you know, investor moods and things that can completely sway what's going on out there. I think of so many times where I leave a conversation with a good friend and I feel better. I didn't feel bad to start with, but that collected energy. And I've had times where I've talked to a friend and somebody's not feeling that great. And you share that energy and you leave with a positive energy. And I'm convinced if you have a room of people and there's going to be a bunch of frowny faces out there who are looking at the world with a different perspective and not embracing all the blessings and opportunities we have, if there's enough of us that are smiling and bringing this positive love, life, and energy, we can help them overcome and share our perspective. We can loan them our life glasses, so to speak. So it was Emily Durkheim who actually first coined this expression, collective consciousness. It's overwhelming, and I think at times we're raised to be blinded by our own beliefs. We're raised to not be in tune with ourselves necessarily, to not really understand and not be able to listen and not be empathetic, but to be programmed a certain way, to respond a certain way, a collective distress. We're told how to feel. We're told what to see and how we see it. I mean, the fact is this. To a great extent, we all define reality. Every single one of us defines reality. So Emily Durkheim, who coined this expression, collective consciousness, said, "The totality of beliefs and sentiments common to average members of a society forms a determinate system of life on its own. It can be termed the collective or common consciousness." So what we know as reality is shaped by our thoughts. Our thoughts are guided by our faith. And there's been several sociologists over the years that have analyzed this and looked into groupthink and herd mentality, which, you hear that term herd, originally was described for animals. But humans act in herd mentalities too. Whether it be a panic or whether it be a spiritual feeling. It could be a mob attack. People act in groups even when it wasn't planned to begin with. When people come together without purpose, purpose will rise out of it, good or bad. We could shake this and shape this. We're able to inject our energies out there. I mean, throughout our days, every one of us knows what I'm talking about. When you're smiling at somebody at work, or you're saying something positive on the bus, or you're walking down the street and you're singing a song and singing it to somebody you've never seen before. And that joy, that happiness, that feeling, it resonates, it echoes. We do share this. We don't all have the same thoughts. We're individuals, but we do share a consciousness. So, we've been unconscious for a long time. You know, there's a lot of people who are not really awake. We call them the sleepers. But once somebody begins to awake, and awakening is a process that takes our whole lives, well, we're able to help others wake up too. It's a powerful force that we can share with each other. So I asked the question, if we're all interconnected through the fabric of collected consciousness, could society be dramatically transformed by enough people creating a positive influence?
Yes.
But since the beginning of time, we've existed primarily to satisfy our ego. It's part of our system that we have to overcome. I don't know why we're driven that way, but I think it's when we step down a little bit and we realize that there's something so much bigger than us, that we're able to really make that difference. It's that ability to help others free themselves from that emotional attachment and to really live life with purpose, with meaning. There's people out there all the time that want to spread negativity, whether because that's the feeling they think is that everybody should share, or whether they feel bad so others should share it too, or maybe they don't know better. Maybe they just want to relate. Maybe they just want to feel included. But I think these are people we can help. I think we all can point out the good to any situation. There's always something more going on that we're not in tune to. We choose to tune in to positive frequencies. We choose to listen to the good things going on around us and not to focus on negativity. Man, I'm choosing to look at all the beautiful people around me and not focus on, cars going behind me. But we slow down, we can hear the cars. It's a choice. It's a responsibility. So, the Baha'i faith inspires a collective consciousness with a universal message and identity. So what I find interesting is that many other religious movements or denominations, they're global in their outreach, but Baha'is are global in different ways. Much more of a think local, act global perspective is what I've seen. Talking about what it is we do that impacts the world around us. And the foundational concepts of oneness in humankind and the oneness of religion are expressed by Baha'is through these actions. It's a responsibility that's understood. There's not a person in this room that doesn't live this way. Now, we talked briefly outside about yogis and other conversations, and I found it interesting. Now, I don't know a lot about this digression here. I just found it interesting. So, Maharishi Yogi, the founder of Transcendental Meditation, TM, he described how combined coherent consciousness can shape the results of a society and actually has measurable results, and it's staggering. But the square root of 1% is all it takes to make a positive ripple. The exact measurement was backed by a statement he made that claimed all occurrences of violence, negativity, conflicts, crises, or problems in any society are merely the expression of a buildup of stress. When the level of stress becomes too acute, it erupts into crime, violence, war, and social disorder. Pretty profound. he had actually done experiments where they were able to take the square root of 1% of North America and have them meditating and notice a 16% decline in crime rates. It's staggering. But interestingly enough, along those lines, I found another quote from Abdul Baha. It says, "The children of the future will not say, 'I belong to the nation of England, France, or Persia.' For all of them will be citizens of a universal nationality. The one family, the one country, the one world of humanity. And then these wars, hatreds, and strifes will pass away." Wow. So when we all could see things together, we don't fight anymore. When we all see things together, we don't fight anymore. We realize we are part of the same family. We're all part of the same world. It's not only our opportunity, it's our responsibility. When you become aware of this, don't you have to do something? How could you not take action when you're aware of this? I think about this stuff, and I feel that it's a debt. I feel it's something, a powerful debt that I want to pay. I look at the blessings around me. I feel the love of friendships and friends I've had friendships that have gone past 20 years right here in this room. And I've had some that I've made just in the past few, but they're equally as deep. And some of them may have some more depth to the tapestry, of course. Maybe different threads that you can't pick up here and there. But it's that collected consciousness, it's that feeling. So what brings me back here? It's the people, it's the conversation. It's this concept of collected consciousness. It's looking around this room here and realizing that we all understand what we're talking about here. And I think it's what draws us all back to the fireside. It's the ability for us to come with questions and leave with answers, and sometimes new questions. And to learn to question ourselves and our roles and where we can make a difference. I don't see anything wrong with that.
No.
There's a lot of change going on in the world, and we could be behind quite a bit of it. That's where this collected consciousness initiative comes to play. That I can feel a certain way and somebody else around the world may feel a different way. And it doesn't have to always be face-to-face, although it's preferable. You can feel that energy. But we can feel that through the phone. When I watched that video we had made from the last Baha'i Fireside, I felt like I was here. I've shared that video with new friends who saw it and said, I want to be part of this. But here's 3 facts we got to deal with. Number 1, change is inevitable. The nature of everything is constant change. There can't be evolution without change. To navigate this time of unusually rapid change, well, we need a transformation of consciousness, which will become the change agent for the evolution of civilization. Number 2, growth is inherent to life. Growth is inherent to life. The pace of growth enables all life forms to evolve towards their potential. Historians, mystics, developmental theorists all understand that growth on the individual and collective levels is regulated by a creative, dynamic, and universal force. And number 3, transformation usually occurs through the conscious confrontation of opposing forces. Let's think about that one for a moment.
Would you break it down a little bit?
Yeah, individually and collectively, just as change is necessary for evolution, so is transformation. So transformation occurs most rapidly through opposition.
We have to fight each other?
So you have to take action.
I had a wrap-up paragraph.
Just wrap up around.
Yeah. So to kind of summarize what we talked about tonight, sit tight, it's a long paragraph, everybody. Consciousness is the interconnectedness of all human beings, our consciousness of ourselves, each other, and the universe. Even our spiritual development has been ever evolving and increasing in complexity over time. We're all born with a desire to understand reality and make sense of life's mysteries. Our fullest potential for consciousness is realized as we investigate the two knowledge systems of science and religion while integrating our own life lessons. Could I wrap this up with the... All right.
This is good.
Well, I'm gonna quote from Baha'u'llah here with the Persian hidden words. And on what I just touched on with that embracing of the two sides of science and religion and injecting our own life experience. O man of two visions, close one eye and open the other. Close one to the world and all that is therein, and open the other to the hallowed beauty of the beloved.